So if I were to start a Hot Toys collection in 2026, and all I could choose from is what's currently available on pre-order on Sideshow, here's where I would start and build my collection this way. This isn't necessarily my pre-order list for 2026, but if I'm just now starting and I really wanted to pick up some like iconic pieces, there's a lot available on pre-order right now if you want to go the payment plan route. I always encourage people, if you're starting a Hot Toys collection in 2026, make sure that first piece is special to you. Really go get the figure you want. Make sure it's a figure that they're not going to do a 2.0 version of really quickly, but regardless, I always say try to get something in hand quick, but this is just for that pre-order list. So let's jump right into it. We got John Wick here, and I think that there has been a John Wick Chapter 2. We obviously got that John Wick Chapter 4 that came out recently, but to me, this John Wick right here, and let's just go to the special edition where you get like a coin, because I think that one's available. They also have an artisan edition. That one's already on wait list, but this one is expected to ship July 2026 to December 2026. It retails at $285 before shipping and all that different stuff. But let's take a look at this. This is from the first John Wick movie, and I just think John Wick's an iconic character. I mean, if you love action movies, if you love Keanu Reeves, I have the John Wick Chapter 4 figure. I'm very happy with that figure. It looks different than this, and I love the John Wick franchise. But this is an absolute must-have piece, in my opinion. I think this is the best John Wick we're going to get. Who knows how many times they're going to remake John Wick. This will be the third John Wick they do. But this is from the first movie, and you can kind of see just how good this looks. The all-black suit, the battle damage on the face, the slick back hair. That's why I personally am totally fine with the collectors and special edition. I know a lot of people are going to get artists, and that's totally cool. That's the way you want to collect. But if you're somebody that's starting a Hot Toys collection in 2026, and you're kind of looking around, you're like, man, I really want to pick out like the iconic characters. I want to start. This is a great figure to start a collection with. Getting a Keanu Reeves John Wick from the first John Wick. If you're a big John Wick fan, or you're just a big action movie fan, man, you could not go wrong with having this as your first piece in the collection. This is a great place to start, in my opinion, and a figure that I am personally super excited about and that I'm going to be picking up. And this is just one that I think just looks phenomenal. I think the head sculpt is just, the prototype head sculpt to me is just a 10 out of 10. It's an awesome piece, getting a lot of different accessories that we're going to look at. We got the, you can kind of see the different designs here. That's so awesome. You get two different looks here. You get the different rolling eyeballs, of course, and then you can kind of see everything this figure comes with. So to start your collection off in 2026, if you were to pre-order this John Wick, I think you're doing it right, because that would be a great start to your Hot Toys journey. The next one we're going to talk about this is a double, because we're going to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we're going to talk about Anakin Skywalker. I know I'm cheating a little bit here because these are two figures, but it's going to be tough to just get one and not the other. So if you're somebody who's just starting your Hot Toys collection and you're a huge Star Wars fan and you're thinking to yourself, man, where do I start? Do I start with the prequels? Do I start with the sequels? Do I start with do I start with the OT? I think right here is just a brilliant place to start. And I'm trying to find a picture where we can kind of see, there it is with the different base there. Look, they're going to make 1 million Anakin Skywalkers. If you don't already know, that just of this figure alone, they made about 3 of these with just different variations, right? This to me is one that you can get and just be totally happy. You're going to pre-order this one. It retails for $310. Expected to ship July to December 2026. You also got the Obi-Wan Kenobi version, and you got that for $315 for October to December 2026. And these are just iconic characters. If you really think about the prequel trilogy, and you really think about, like, if you were to get one or two pieces from the entire prequel trilogy that kind of told you everything you need to know about that trilogy, you could have these two on a display, and that could represent your entire prequel trilogy. And that's really exciting. That's what you start a collection with. You start a collection with iconic characters, iconic moments, iconic scenes. And this is one that I definitely think you can do. And the reason I put Obi-Wan and Anakin in the same one is because, again, if you're somebody who's really wanting to start your collection off, and say you only got enough funds to maybe get one or two figures that year, I've been saying it since this got announced, I would start here almost over anything else if you're a big Star Wars fan, because think about it, you get both these characters in one of the most iconic scenes and battles in all of Star Wars, and just two massive characters So if you're a prequel fan, you love these versions of the characters, man. I just think that this is a amazing place to start. Again, if we're just talking the pre-orders that are available right now on Sideshow, you can go ahead and start making these payment plans. That way, you can kind of stay on budget and kind of think about that. But this is a definite place to start, and just two iconic characters to have in your display. So the next one, and this will be number 3, because again, that was kind of a 2-pack, a little bit of, I'm taking some liberties here. But the next one we're going to talk about is Big Chap. I mean, we're talking iconic characters. When you're starting a Hot Toys collection, again, I don't know I don't know what you like to collect. If you're watching this video, you might be a huge Star Wars fan, you might be a huge Marvel fan, you might be a huge DC, you might be a huge just like Alien and Predator fan and all the different stuff. Or you might be like me and just love it all. So I'm just trying to pick the most iconic characters I can. So a lot of y'all might be not excited about Big Chat, but I know a lot of y'all are. Regardless, man, you can't deny with this special edition, retailing at $315, which to me is a really good deal for this figure. Still, as always, these figures are really expensive, so definitely make sure you're wanting these characters before you pick them up. But from July 2026 to December 2026 is when it's expected to ship. You got the special edition here for $315. You can see everything it comes with. Again, this is really just the Big Chat, man. You're really paying for this figure for the iconic look. I mean, this is the original Alien. Big Chap. They also have a scored xenomorph from Alien Romulus. They also have a Rain Carradine from Alien Romulus. If you really love that and you really want to start there, that's a totally great place to start. But if you're somebody who's going to just have one collectible from the Alien franchise, and you're like, man, I just want to have the best hot toy. I just want to have the most iconic look for the character. Maybe they give us a Ripley 2.0. Who knows? But what's the version of the character that can represent my entire Alien fandom? And it would be Big Chap. I just think Big Chap is the most iconic Alien. It's the original, man. They are giving us a 2.0. No telling when we're going to get another one of these. And I just think that you could not go wrong with having an iconic character design like this. Just absolutely iconic. This is a great figure to start with. I'd argue that, say you're somebody who can only afford one figure a year and you really want to be selective, this is a great one, man. And all these are ones that you can really just start a collection with if you started in 2026. So definitely be taking a look at this Big Chat 2.0. Absolutely great place to start, and one that I cannot wait for. So we're going to keep it rolling here with number 4, and that is RoboCop. I mean, we got RoboCop here, man. Listen, this is from RoboCop 2. Okay, I don't know what your favorite in the franchise is. RoboCop 1 to me is the best in the franchise. RoboCop 2 is definitely a memorable, still iconic movie. I mean, again, RoboCop 1's kind of the one that I think's like the step above. But again, even though it's RoboCop 2 licensed, and there's also a RoboCop 3 figure that's very similar to this that looks really great as well. But you're not losing much here. Most people that look on the shelf, this RoboCop is going to be the same as RoboCop 1 to a lot of people. So don't worry about it being RoboCop 2 licensed. A lot of times they do that to kind of get around like licensing issues and different things like that. But this is one that I think you're going to be extremely happy with. This is a figure that I think is one of the most anticipated figures in Hot Toys of all 2026. And you kind of see everything you get with, man. You got the Alex Murphy head sculpt here, which looks absolutely incredible. I mean, this figure is going to be just lights out great. You got some battle damage pieces here. You got the different weapons. I mean, this is just, again, when you're starting a collection and you're somebody who really wants to get into collecting Hot Toys, or maybe you're somebody who just wants to get into collecting your favorite figures and you're looking for the essential version of that character, man, I'm telling you right now, this RoboCop figure, this is one that is just a show-stopping piece. It's one that you're going to be able to have in its own little area representing that movie. Say your collection is just iconic movie characters. We already talked about a lot already. We talked about Big Chap a minute ago. Now we're talking RoboCop. This thing looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see what the final version looks like, because this prototype looks brilliant. And I'm just loving the different ways you can display it. I could see a lot of people actually getting 2 of these to just have the iconic look from like the poster, and then also being able to show off the Alex Murphy head sculpt. Because look, you get battle damage, you get the clean version. I personally am just going to go clean version all day long. But man, this figure looks really good. You can kind of see the articulated holster with the die-cast pistol. Die-cast pistol, man. That is super cool. And this is just a piece that I just think is going to just really be a special piece. That RoboCop 3 that's available right now figure looks amazing. I've seen it in a lot of people's collections and it looks great. This is something you can start a collection with RoboCop from RoboCop 2. Definitely take a look at it. Retailing for $300, which to me, with everything you get, it's a great deal. Again, super expensive, I know, but with everything you get, I think it's great. July 2026 to December 2026, you can pre-order right now on Sideshow. We're going to stick with iconic characters. We're talking about starting a Hot Toys collection in 2026. When you're starting a collection, unless you're somebody who's just wanting to collect one IP, even then it's very difficult to get a lot of different characters from that IP. Again, these are figures that I think you can start a collection with, and we're sticking with iconic characters, and we're sticking with a guy called James Bond. I mean, James Bond, man, $260 retail, April 2026 to September 2026. You can see everything it comes with. But the great thing about this character, and the great thing about having a character like James Bond, is maybe they start giving us other James Bonds. How cool would that be to have everybody from Connery to Craig, having all those different iconic characters that played James Bond, which is one of the great characters in all of storytelling. I mean, just James Bond, man, is just that iconic character that you could really just build a collection around. You can start a collection with. And man, just with the figures we've talked about today, if you were to pick up all these, talk about having just an incredible classic movie shelf of iconic characters just based on the ones we've already gone over. So again, James Bond, this is just a classy figure. No pun intended, because I know this is a classy, shaken, not stirred type of guy. But man, this figure looks absolutely incredible. This is from No Time to Die, but this could work in any type of, thing. I mean, he does look a little bit older with the head sculpt, but I mean, it could work in multitudes of ways. I mean, it could be like the Casino Royale. It could be, all the different versions of it. But man, this looks really good with the tuxedo. This is what you think about when you think about James Bond, the character. No matter who plays him, you think about the tuxedo. You think about this type of character and this Daniel Craig head sculpt. I'm very excited to see what the final version looks like. I've already seen the Commando outfit version. Looks really good. Definitely don't sleep on this figure. This is one retailing at $260 to get a James Bond in the collection. Man, that's awesome. So definitely be thinking about this one to add or to start your collection with in 2026. And the next one we got here, we are going with Marvel. We're going to kick it over to Marvel. We're going to go Iron Man Mark III armor suit up version. Listen, there's so many Iron Man figures. There's so many Iron Man figures. And plus, they do 2.0s. They're probably going to start doing 3.0s. They always find little ways to improve each one, so that way it makes people that already have the previous versions get one. Like, I want to make sure you get the suit that you want. So with this, there's a caveat of like, if Mark III isn't your favorite Iron Man suit, go find the Iron Man that you really want and pick that one up. There's a few that are available on Sideshow right now that you can pick up right now on a deal. But if you love the Mark III like I do, and I have the Mark III 2.0, and you feel like that is the essential version of the character. I also love the Mark 7, but the Mark 3 is just what kicked it all off for me. That was like I think about the marketing for Iron Man. I think about the poster. I think about all the different stuff. This is the suit up version, retailing at $465, July 2026 to December 2026. But if you're somebody who loves Iron Man and you don't really like the suits that are available right now that they made from Iron Man 2 and Endgame and different stuff, and you're wanting to not go back and pick up an Iron Man Mark III 2.0 and pay astronomical prices, $465 is something you can pay off over time, and you're getting a great figure, and to me, a great way to start your collection. Now look, this is the suit up version. So if you're wanting just a clean suit and you just want the suit to be worn and you want it to look great, you definitely want to go a different direction, because this is a suit up version. There's all different kinds of pieces. You can kind of see how that works. You're not going to get that just clean cut look of the character. You get different versions. You can make it look really, really close to that, but this is really, it's really to where you can really have a suit up version to make it look like it's in the process of getting suited up. I have the Avengers Mark 6 suit up, and that figure's really cool. And I think that that's one that I just love having it, where it's like an iconic scene. This is going to kind of replicate that. Again, you can kind of see when it's put together. You can kind of see this different base that looks incredible. I love these circular bases they're putting with Iron Man figures. And you kind of see here, you're still getting a little bit of that, but you're kind of wanting it to look like it's in that middle of that transformation stage. And the only thing is, you're not getting a full Tony Stark head sculpt. You are getting the helmeted sculpt. So again, this one has a lot of caveats to it, but it's still a version that I would definitely think about, because once this sells out, this is going to go very expensive on the secondhand market. This is a type of figure that, even though they've done 2.0s, this is a suit up version. People love the different parts and the different pieces. Iron Man is just Hot Toys is like big seller. You're going to get multiples of different of different versions of the suit. But to me, the Mark III is just that type of suit where, like, I could comfortably say this would be a great figure to have. Do I think it should be your only Iron Man in the collection? I do not. Do I think it's worthy of starting a collection with and building around it? I do. So definitely, even though with a lot of caveats on this one, this is definitely one that I think you could start a collection with in 2026 if you're a big Iron Man fan. The next figure we're going to talk about, we have two more figures to talk about. The next one we're going to talk about is one that I almost didn't put on the list, but I think it's worthy of being on there, and that is Peacemaker. I wanted to have a DC figure on here, and this is like a lot of them we talked about today, July 2026 to December 2026. Again, just in case you're skipping around the video, this is if you're starting a collection in 2026 and you have to choose what's available for pre-order on Sideshow right now. So again, there is a Peacemaker out there from season 1, really good figure, but this has the John Cena head sculpt without the helmet. This has the helmeted head sculpt. This has a lot of different versions, like the tongue sticking out. It's got a lot of different accessories that come with it. And again, this is just a really cool figure. Again, I hope they make improvements to the sculpt. The sculpt I don't think is the best sculpt I've seen from Hot Toys. I definitely see Cena in some of the angles, but I definitely think they need to improve on this. But this figure looks great. I've seen a lot of the Peacemaker Season 1 figures on a lot of people's shelves, and it looks phenomenal. It really does stick out, and it's one that's kind of like a great, almost a must-have character to have in your DC display, just because I just think the suit really pops on a shelf. It's John Cena, if you're a big fan of John Cena, if you're a big fan of this character, and I just think that Peacemaker is definitely a character that you could build a collection around, especially like a DC collection. You're kind of waiting for your favorite version. We got some different DC, and I got James Gunn with DC now. Maybe you're waiting on some different characters to go along with that. This could be a good way to start off that collection. So again, out of all the ones we mentioned here today, I think that this one is one that if you went back and got the season 1 version, it's totally cool. But to be able to get this at retail for $300, because a lot of times since that season 1 version's been sold out for a little bit, might be a little bit higher in price. So this is one that you can get at retail, and I think it'd be a good one to start a DC collection with. So definitely be thinking about this one. And finally, we're going to get to our last one, and that is Predator 2.0 Deluxe version. April 2026 to September 2026. Last but certainly not least, obviously there's a few issues that I've heard people have with some of the inaccuracies to this Predator. I get all that stuff. I really do, especially when you're spending $340. I'm not dismissing that whatsoever. So if you're someone who those issues kind of arise for you and you can't look past them, I totally understand it. With that said, this is Predator. This is the Jungle Predator, man. This is the Predator that started it all, which for in my opinion, the just head and shoulders best in the franchise. Even though we've gotten some really good franchise entries, we just had Predator Badlands where you got Deck and Tia, and that has been on pre-order right now. That's one that you can go if you really were a big fan of that movie. You could go that route. But this is a character you can start a collection with. This is an iconic version of this character. And it is one that if we ever get a Dutch down the line where we get an Arnold Schwarzenegger Dutch, man, how cool would these two look together? Again, it's been a while since we've gotten this figure. This is a 2.0. Who knows when we're going to get this version of the character again from Hot Toys. And you can kind of see all the cool stuff you get with the different, with the base. That's why I made sure to say deluxe version. I think the deluxe version is absolutely worth it in this case. And again, I don't have a Predator figure yet in Hot Toys. I got a lot of the NECA figures. I love them. But this is going to be probably my first Predator. I almost went with Feral Predator, but I want the Jungle Predator first, man. I want this version of the character first before I get any other Predators. I've waited a long time for this to get 2.0 because I wanted to make sure I started my collection off right. So if you're somebody who's starting your collection in 2026 and you love Predator and you don't want to go back and get the older versions and you want something newer, more updated, all that different stuff, definitely check out the Predator 2.0. It's one that I think is a great figure to build a collection around, to start a collection with in 2026. And we're going to kick it back over to John Wick for the closing thoughts. My closing thoughts is this real quick. If you're still watching the video, make sure to stay to the end because, we can get some, I got an end screen that's got some other videos I think you might like. When you're starting a collection in 2026, All I'll say is this: definitely pick up something as your first figure that you can probably get relatively soon. If you just got into Hot Toys and you wanted to pre-order a figure and then you have to wait 6 months minimum, a lot of these, the earliest it's going to ship to you would be July 2026, and very rarely are you going to get it by then. So a lot of these are going to be figures that by the earliest you get it in the late summer. I would say definitely get something now that you really like that's either in stock, or maybe you go through eBay or trusted sellers, with good reviews and stuff like that, and go get a character that you really like. See if you even want to collect Hot Toys to begin with, and see how much that piece means to you. And then if you really like it and you want to start pre-ordering, like, okay, I just spent $400 on this figure. I can't get another one till, the fall. What can I pre-order? This is what that video was for. Again, this is solely based on what is available on pre-order, and what, if I was starting my collection in 2026, what characters I would really prioritize that you can really start your collection around. And then even if you can only get one piece, I feel like every single one of these characters, if you could only get that one figure that year, it'd look really good on the shelf and be something that is memorable and that you would really enjoy. Again, a lot of this goes to like what you're into, what you're a fan of, what IPs you like. I have the curse of loving all of the different IPs, and so it's tough to kind of navigate that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I'd really appreciate it. It'd mean a lot to me. Hype it up if you want to as well. Really appreciate you watching. Check out some other videos on my channel. I think you're going to dig them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.